Hi everyone and welcome to my tutorial about how to make an account in the game called Game of Thrones. I suppose everybody is familiar with the game, at least my audience, so I'm not going to go further into this. What I'm going to show you today is my alt account, which is roughly about 3 months old into the game. It's already Castle 24, as you can see here, and I've been making good progress with it, so I think it's useful for other people to see how I've been building this account and hopefully use some of this knowledge in building their own. Now, depending at which stage in the game you are, you may want to incorporate some of the things that I've been doing on this account to make your progression in the game basically faster. But let's take an overall look at the account. As I said, it's Castle 24. We have a level 52 Lord, even though I've not done any fighting. You can see here I have my research gear on and I'm missing one piece. The reason I'm missing one piece is because I'm finally upgrading my ring to level to gold, which gives 20% more research speed, and this is basically the last piece of equipment that I'm focusing on for my research gear, which of course I can continue to improve it by killing rebels, but in terms of additional items, I've already got from the rebel set 2 blue items. I'm not going to focus any further on these. They're 7.28% now, can go up to 12 and then 20, but it takes a very long time, and instead I will be focusing on the Winter Rose necklace because of the training speed. This is the most expensive one. You can see it requires 6 pieces of each equipment, while even the research one only requires 2. But that's a bit further ahead from what I had in mind from the beginning. Let me tell you how I've basically built this account from scratch in the first couple of weeks. In terms of building, I've only been doing the castle as far as I could get it, and as you can see, when you click on the castle and want to upgrade it, so for me it's 24 to 25 now, it tells me all of these prerequisites that have to be built first. So click on the arrow and you do that one. In this case, this one requires a farmland, which I'm actually doing. The benefit of doing your castle, getting your castle up very quickly, first of all, is allows you to upgrade your Maester's Tower to an equivalent level, which unlocks researches. Second of all, it's not really that important to do the other buildings at that stage, apart maybe from the blacksmith, which you want to get to level 17 as quickly as possible, but of course that also requires castle 17, so you still have to do the castle. And you would have noticed when you start a new account, you get these power games, which I'm not getting now anymore, but they basically require you to get more power, be it either building or research, in I think it's 1 hour or 30 minutes, and you're competing with another guy. But if you have a long building for your size, say I'm castle, I don't know, I have 1 million power, and I'm competing with someone else, but I'm building castle level 10, which is quite big for that level, I can leave it to the last few seconds, finish that construction, and basically win the race. It gives a huge amount of points in the last minute, and the other player doesn't expect it. They can take a slight lead on you while you're doing this, but you only care about the last minute, really. And what have I been getting from these? Well, I've been getting some nice commander medals alongside other things, which basically allowed me to have a blue Sansa, even though I've never really done any blitzing for her. I have a blue Sheila, again, same reason. I think I got, yeah, it's only Sansa and Sheila that I got from there. So while I'm while I've been doing this, leveling up my castle as much as possible, in terms of commanders, I have only been blitzing Soren. The reason I've been doing this is because Soren is the first one that becomes available, and if you look at him, well, from the ones that we want to focus on, if you look at his specialization, you can see here research speed increased by 25%. So it's him and Varys that have this, and you want them both to maximum quality as soon as possible. So I've done Soren first, and then I've done Varys. So if they both combined give me 50% research speed, then the rest of the items that I have equipped give me further bonus. Right now I don't have the ring, which is being upgraded, but even so, you see my research speed is 188% right now. I believe once the ring is finished I will be, well, let's take a look. The ring is 20%, right? What does it give? Yes, another 20%, so I'll be at 208% research speed. As you can see, I didn't do the other bits and pieces of this set, mainly because I wanted to focus on the ring and get it to gold as soon as possible. If you take each piece up, you know, get them all to green, then get them all to blue, get them all to violet, and so on, it's gonna take a lot more time until you can do this ring. And that's all that time you're investing in basically fighting equipment while you're not going to be fighting, or at least not going to be fighting efficiently, and jeopardizing potential extra research speed, which makes your researches faster, and of course they help a lot more in the long run if you do them early. In terms of other sets, as you can see, I'm just focusing on a few items from each set, mostly because they all kind of require the same items. So you see here, these two, they are both based on the ivory gold-plated cup, while these three are on this ivory gold-plated cup, while these three are based on the beast biter. These, therefore, I'm only considering one item that I'm going to upgrade as much as possible, and the reason why I'm doing this one is because of infantry health, and another one from the other three elements, which are based on the beast biter. This way I can be efficient, and that I'm not even concerned about these other ones, other four. Similarly, I've selected from each set a couple of items that interest me. So this one again for infantry health and gives spearman attack is the one that I'm doing, and it's based on the Corsair container. While I'm doing this one, which is based on this ship. All the others, which require bits and pieces of these, I'm not going to do, because I want to get these items to maximum quality, well, the most I can achieve in the fastest time possible. Similarly here, I'm doing this item, so this will be my fighting gear, which I'm not equipping it now because I'm not going to fight, but you get these from killing rebel leaders on the map. And now we've covered how I've done construction and a little bit about the gear. Let's talk about how I've done my research. What you have to know is that the military research is the most expensive and it takes the longest time. So you basically really want to do military research when you have good research speed, and it's not going to help you very early in the game anyway, because you're not going to be fighting. So what I did first, I tried to max my expedition research, and as you can see, all of these are level 9. Now, with every advance of my castle, I was then advancing my Maester's Tower, and then moving to advance further with the castle, and in the meanwhile, the researches that I was doing were these researches for expedition. So now I'm researching this military discipline, which will give me further motivation cost reduction. I will finish with chivalry 2, for more motivation limit, and I think that's as far as I will go on this account, because it's unlikely that I'm going to do Meister's Tower level 25 anytime soon. But while you're doing these, of course there will be times when you'll need to do other researches, so the ones that I highly recommend are from production. What you want to do here, you want to do your building mastery, just because it is going to help you a lot with your construction speed. And your resource exploitation, this gives you resource gathering speed, which becomes very, very important, to get resources for everything that you do. You may want to upgrade your transport upgrade as well, which means that your troops will be carrying more, and you therefore have to send less troops to gather, which means you're exposing less troops while you're gathering, and you need fewer troops to do so. So that's all good. And the other thing that I've been doing, even before considering any military research, was this advanced military. As you can see, I didn't go any further than level 2 troops, and I'm going to explain why a little bit later. But I basically maxed all my tier 1 recruitment to make them cheaper. What this gives me is 40% cost reduction, and some of the tier 2, mainly bowmen and infantry. Now bowmen is not required. I've made a slight error by making quite a lot of tier 2 bowmen. I could have just made tier 1 bowmen because I'm using them for gathering. They're not going to be part of my final build in any way. I just expendable troops that I use to gather, and I don't care if I get attacked and I lose them. I can either make them back just to cover my gathering, or I just delete them. I'm going to do quite a lot of veteran infantry, because this will be my front line, so I got this to max as soon as possible. I'm not yet sure whether I'm going to do any veterans, spearmen or cavalry. I think the reason why I've upgraded this was basically because it was free. But yeah, that's not required. You may want to get all of these up first and then do the veteran infantry. Later on, I did do some military research. As you can see, I'm quite advanced at the moment. I have infantry weapon upgrade up to level 9. These are 8. Of course, I'm not doing any bowman research. The infantry will be my front line, so when I get attacked, the infantry will be in the front. So I want all physical armor and weapon to be as high as possible. And then I've even done some of the all army upgrades. As you can see here, this becomes very expensive and it takes a long time. So you only want to do these when you have basically the maximum research speed that you can get for your account at that time. I wouldn't even consider doing any of these if I didn't have Varys and Soren, both gold, combined 50% research speed, and the research gear that I have equipped now. So when that ring will come in, I'll be over 200 again research speed. If you look here at my stats, so we've got this construction speed 156, that's fine. I'm not going to be doing too much construction anyway. Well, I will, but I'll explain in a second what I'm going to do. Research speed, which is very important to allow me to research the military bits and pieces. Then training speed, I have pretty good training speed, 256% at this level, and I'm going to come back to this and explain why. And then the military stats, which are pretty low at the moment. So why do I have such a big training speed? It's because, apart from the main hospital, which you have to do, I only have means. So these are the higher level means, and these are the lower level means. 15, 14, 14, 13, as you can see, it's all means. This basically means that my wounded limit is very low, only 28,500. But that's fine, because I'm never dropping shield. So the worst that can happen is that I get attacked on my gatherings, where I'm gathering with mostly bowmen, which I don't care about. They can be attacked and killed, that's fine. Sometimes you see I have some other troops. It's just because I'm being greedy and I'm gathering higher level um, high level nodes, but I could just gather on level 2 nodes with this account and basically be pretty safe at all times. That's what I do in KVK actually. In KVK I only send to gold level 2. It's about 7 to 8,000 units per resource spot to fully gather it, and eventually one or two do get attacked, one usually, but you can see I can fit, if you think 7 times 4, that's 28,000. So I can basically almost fit all these troops in my hospital, so I'm not taking any risks. In terms of my dragon, because we're talking about this gathering part, I did focus on resource gathering, which gives me a nice boost to what I'm gathering, and then I've started to put some military skills on it, but I'll come back to it a bit later. Now in terms of troops, what I'm doing veteran infantry. It takes about 5 hours to make 2,500 of these troops. Yeah, 6 hours. So I do a couple of training sessions during the day, and for the night I actually do level 3 infantry, which takes almost 12 hours. So that covers me pretty nicely at the moment with this setup for my training. And apart from that, now I'm trying to get my castle to level 25, just because, this is not compulsory, because I'm not going to take my Maester's towers to level 25. I do that for the rookery because I want to get this to level 25 to see what troops are coming, and I get another nice bonus here. Level 25 I get 10% attack reduction from enemy troops. But the plan with this account is to basically make it a trap account. And the way I'm going to do this, once I get all my mints to level 24, that's supposed to give me about 400% training speed, I think. Then I'm going to make a lot of troops at once. And I'm going to show you here how many speed ups I have for troops. You can see 162 days, that's only the troops, hostiles, that I've been saving. And I'm going to put some diamonds on that as well when that happens. The final troop composition will basically be about 2 million veteran infantry. I could deduct the number of elites that I'm getting up to that point and adjust it so that in total it's about 2 million infantry. And I'm going to have 5 million of each veteran cavalry and spearmen. And that will be 12 million troops, which technically should be able to take a hit even from War Bunny. We're going to test it and survive, and hopefully also kill all of his incoming troops. But to do so, I have to get all these means to max, then make all the troops, and then I will demolish all my means and make hospitals instead, so that I can get the troop, and these I will take to 25, because I do get 5% total health for each hospital, and not only that, I will have about 750,000 wounded limit, so I can take a hit. And as long as you're not going to kill 1 million in one hit, I'm probably not going to take any red deads out of it. It's a long journey, and while I'm doing that, I have to get my commanders up as well, because these will be on my these will be on my wall. So what do I want on my wall? I have infantry in front, right, because I'm not going to unlock any other formation. So Chris, which gives us infantry health up to 30%, as well as infantry attack, is a must gold commander on my wall. Then I'm going to have Arya for the obvious, not only infantry defense, which is but total attack increased by 15%. Then these two are infantry. I could add another infantry one. I don't think I'm going to get Barrett to gold. This would be great because it gives you the infantry health up to another 30%. But I could consider another infantry commander as I unlock it. I don't have one unlocked for the moment. But the other two compulsory ones are Arslan for spears, which gives spearman health and spearman attack. I could do Russell for cavalry, which has cavalry attack and will help me a little bit with construction, but equally actually more useful for your troops is actually Merrill, which I don't have unlocked at the moment. For spears, I do have Varys, which is already gold, and he already gives where is it? Spearman attack increased by 30%. So Varys is very useful. You will not only boost your research, but as long as you have infantry in front, followed by cavalry and spearmen in the back line, they'll basically never get attacked if you play it right. It gives you free 30% spearman attack as long as he's on your wall. I don't even know what I've put on my wall at the moment. I don't think I've put anything because I've never been fighting. Yeah, I've got nothing here. So in this screen, you select the commanders that will be defending on your own. Sansa is a very bad decision, so I'll put Arya here for now, and well, could put Arslan. I don't really have a good cavalry commander. I'll put Arslan just because Russell is just white, and my dragon. And I'm stuck in infantry cavalry, as you can see, because I have not unlocked the other formations, so I basically have to prepare my infantry to be as tanky as possible while the troops behind do as much damage as possible. That's why I'm going for veteran infantry up to 2 million units, and then have 5 million of the other tier 1s. And why do I do veteran infantry and not elite infantry, you might ask? Well, let's take a look. One elite infantry gives you power 24, which means when you have 1 million of these, that's going to be 24 million power. It's going to raise you quite a little bit, and people will take notice of that and will be careful when attacking you. And it provides an attack of 56 with health of 76. Now let's take a look at the tier 2 infantry. The attack is 33, so a little bit more than half, which is fine. We won't have as much attack on the infantry as if we had tier 3. But the health is 57. So if you think 57 compared to 73, that's only 16 points difference. This is basically almost 60, and the other one is roughly 70 if you round them up. It doesn't look like the tier 3 infantry is much more tankier than the tier 2 infantry. And the benefit of doing tier 2, obviously, not only is it faster, more cost effective, but only gives you power of 8, which means that 1 million tier 2 units will give me 8 million power. And that's not going to look very threatening for somebody who likes to attack. Say, War Bunny sees my castle and I'm around 70 million, he's definitely going to solo hit that. Well, he did hit Son yesterday, who was 130 million, but even other more cautious players might see me at around 60 million and try to solo hit me, which is what I want them to do, because I'll be having 12 million troops waiting for them to attack me. So that's the thought process behind that, and for the same reason we're doing tier 1 spearmen and cavalry, because at tier 1 you only get 2 points of power per unit. If I was doing tier 2, I'd get 8 points, and if I do 5 million, that's going to be 40 million power per each 5 million troop, and that's going to get me quite high up as power is concerned. I'm going to be over 100 million, and when you're that high, people don't really hit you. So that's the whole idea behind having low level troops, to make people attack you, think that you're weak, and then of course get all these points and kill their TFOs. In terms of something that I haven't covered, and I know that is something very important for us, is the expedition part. That's why I've been researching it. I do fairly well in expedition with this account. If you can see here in expedition log, let's take a look. Yeah, 149 tier 2 rebels with 5 tier 3 rebels and even 2 tier 4 rebels, which these ones I did finish for my main account to save another hit on very low health rebels on that one. But it does fairly well in expedition, and it is very important to do it from the very beginning because it gives you access to all these bits and pieces for your gear, and not only that, but you're actually providing gifts for your alliance. I think today we don't have good rebels on the map for my commanders, but we'll take a look. Oh no, this happens from time to time. Just bear with me a moment. While we're waiting for it to load, of course, I have been using this account to bubble up my main account with 24-hour protection orders, and also been bubbling it up with 24-hour truces, so the amount of diamonds that I have at the moment could have been much higher. And I've also been gambling a lot on the ship, which reduced my diamonds overall. If you're going to do this seriously, I recommend that you actually try to save diamonds as much as you can, because they're all going to be useful when you do your troops. And something else that I haven't mentioned is my production buildings, which are farmland, but they're actually not really required. You don't need these farmlands. I could destroy them, and I should actually turn them into something more useful, because I can't keep any food with the amount of troops that I have. But let's go out on the map, find the rebel. If it loads. Okay. Yeah, you see my total motivation is 6,290, which is pretty good. And I've got 5,000 available for me today. Sadly, the rebels that we have today are not ideal for my account. This is the construction one, and this is the archer for gathering. Since my strongest commanders are infantry, I like rebels which are weak to infantry, but in this case we're gonna do one of these Riverlands poacher. 6 minutes left on this one. I'm sending my best commanders. It's my best tank in front here. I have my healer, 2 damage dealers, archers, Arya, which is also a very good damage dealer, and Barrett, which is the other one. The idea of this is that Chris has to survive being healed by Sansa and allow all the other guys to deal their damage safely. So let's attack it once. And see what happens. And while we're doing this, I'm going to show you all the motivation that I've been saving over this time. I have over 321 of 200 points of motivation. Quite a lot of 400, 1000 and even 2000 points. The reason why I've been saving this and not using it is because I've been waiting for my performance in expedition to get to the maximum I can get, and only then I'm going to use them to try and complete one of the sets that I'm missing, and also provide a lot of gifts for the alliance. So by that time I should have maximum research on expedition, which I'm very close to finishing for castle level 24 basically. And I should also have Arslan and Meryl both to gold, as well as Arya, of course. The reason for this is because they are not only useful for fighting, but they are very good in expedition because they have high attack stats, and provided that you have a good tank in front of them, as you can see, the strongest stat is the attack. You can basically use them, as long as they're protected, to deal a lot of damage to the rebels. So on this one, I've done roughly 35% damage, so I can safely go and double attack him now, knowing that that will kill it, because the next attack will do more anyway, and I've done 35% in the first one, so I'm basically guaranteed to kill this Riverlands poacher in the next attack. And we got some buttons. And is that okay? Oh wow, I've even made it first stage in the event. That's never bad. And while we're at it here, the other very important thing that you want to be doing daily is not only to use all your motivation, but to also use all of this endurance. The reason for this is because, let me find a level 10 rebel group. I do the elite ones for the added medals. It seems that I can't find one like this. I'll have to manually search for one. Found a almost dead rebel. Too low for me to attack. Well, that was the same. Let's find a level 10. Oh. This one I could consider, but with my main account, for a couple of hits, it's too late now. That's a level 5. Well, level 5 will have to do. So, I just don't care what I'm going to send here, because it's going to be a win no matter what. Just going to send full. Basically what this gives you, you see these diamonds here, hostels and all of these things. These are very useful for your account as it develops, and you want to be maxing out on the returns from these camps. They don't always give something useful, but most of the time you will benefit from it. If you think you can do, say, 10 of these per day, 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, for free, and they each can give you 200 diamonds. That's potentially 2,000 diamonds that you're missing out if you're not doing them. And that's per day, which is an immense amount if you multiply that with 3 months of playing. That's 2,000 diamonds multiplied 90 days, which is 180,000 diamonds that you would just say no to if you don't do them. I didn't get any diamonds here, but I did get some materials which helped me upgrade that rebel set, so it's useful. So guys, I hope this has been useful. I can follow it up with more. Oh, found a mint. I can follow it up with more similar videos. If you think that's going to help you, let me know what things I should cover in more depth, and I will do so. This was meant mainly to be kind of an overall introduction of this account and how I've been building it, and why it's recommended to focus on basically research speed at first, and only do mints while you're going to be permanently bubbled, because you don't need hospitals anyway. Try to do the tier 1 archers to gather with them, and slowly build the troops that you want for your account later on, but without hastening them at the initial stage, because you're not going to get full benefit from your hastings right now. Got the semi-dragon on this one to get a very nice extra amount of gold. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.